Welcome to Stop Whining About Real Estate. Join us as we chat, sip, banter, and wine with the best in the biz. Grab a glass of your favorite vino, sit back, relax, and let's wine together.
Welcome, everybody. It's top of the morning here in Ireland. I've got my co-host, Sarah Biernbaum, our little favorite leprechaun. I'm Emmanuel St. Germain. This is Stop Whining About Real Estate. We've got a great guest for you today. We've got Lana Murphy, which in true Irish tradition, which is, I think, why Sarah's wearing a bright green jacket.
Very supportive.
Lana is the broker owner of Harbourfront Real Estate Services. Welcome to the show, Lana.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm stoked to have you.
I am too. We need a buffer between the bright leprechaun over here and myself.
Yeah. So before we get into real estate, the market, and the thrilling world of lending and finance, I just wanted to, it's the end of summer. How
Yes.
has your summer been?
It's been really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you posted yesterday on your story, and I love you, but I wanted to throw my phone through a window because it was a picture of your son, Guy, who's adorable. But the caption was, we did no camps, we woke up late, we took our time, we had a great summer, and we traveled. And I was like, man, what does that even feel like?
I know.
Talk to me. How was that?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you, like, it's like from the time they're born, it's like they're on a schedule, you know, and you got to keep them on that schedule. And so being able to just this summer being like, you know what, it's like you go from the schedule of school to the schedule of camp and kind of being able to be like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to disconnect and like let him disconnect. Kind of have like, I saw a caption that said 1980s summer.
Yeah.
Just be a kid.
Yeah.
You know, wake up late.
Eat cereal, watch cartoons.
Watch cartoons.
Is this a strategy that you had in mind? Is it, so this is like
it was
thought
kind of
out?
a little bit. Like it was kind of like, let's see a summer for like a break. Just from the
summer vacation.
So last summer would have been, like you said, more routine and stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
like we were in camp for 9 weeks, and you have to drop them off at 9. You pick them up at 4. They have like a full schedule at camp with activities.
It's like
so where'd you get this idea?
Well, we kind of decided it was like a combination of things that happened, and then ultimately it was like we found out that there was 2 camps that offered just day rates, which traditionally camps want you to sign up for like weeks at a time.
Yeah.
So he got into baseball last year. And so one of the baseball camps was like, hey, you could just bring them like daily instead of like, you don't have to sign up for 8 weeks at a time. So that was kind of the initial inspiration, like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do that.
You can choose.
Yeah. And then it kind of spiraled from there and turned into like, we found other camps, like a horse camp that did the same thing. They were like, you can bring them for a week, you could bring them for a couple of days. And then it sort of just, kind of spiraled
and you're like, we're going to wake up every day and figure out our adventure.
Yeah.
So now, I'm going to put, I know Sarah doesn't want to get to business yet, but I'm going to put my business entrepreneurial hat on.
Yeah.
Is that a sign of a slowing economy, which is why they're willing to accept daily individuals? Because I would think as a business owner, it's way better to have you commit for a certain amount of weeks, and then you know what staff, like how do you staff not knowing how many people are showing up on a day?
That's a great question, to be honest.
He's so financed.
And possibly, but I can tell you that the camps that we sent him to traditionally, they did not offer that.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. They want at least a week commitment.
Right. So I wasn't like they offered it. It was like they were still very like regimented. And you also have to sign up in January for camps. So, you're signing up in January, your kid's not even starting until June.
That's a lot of pre-planning.
Yeah. And life can look different in January than it does in June.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Sarah, I mean, I know you go through some of these struggles. We don't get to see you at the office as much, and certainly doesn't come in as bright and early during the summer. By the way, so before I'm teasing Sarah. Obviously.
Before you dig on me.
No, it's very funny to hear both of you, as a northerner, say end of summer. It's July 31st as we're filming this.
Yes.
And where I grew up, August is all of summer because you don't go to school until after Labor
September,
Day.
right?
Yeah. So you guys do it between the holidays, Memorial Day, right? And
no, it's we would finish end of June.
Okay.
And then you'd have snow days. Like we would have to make up days. I don't think you guys make up days. I think you guys just
like Broward is currently making up days because they had all that flooding.
Okay, so you do have makeup days.
Yeah, so
okay.
we get hurricane makeup days, not snow, but hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no snow days?
No.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. Dropping knowledge on us.
So my summer looked very different. I have 2 kids, and when I registered them for camp, we had a person that was taking care of the kids during the day, like kind of a nanny situation. So I was used to her doing drop off and pickup because that was her full function. And she left us after all of the camps were registered for. So most of the summer, both kids have been in separate camps every week with very different drop-off and pickup times. So like one would start at 8 and they'd be done at 2, and the other one would start at 10 and be done at like noon sometimes, or 10 to like 3 in different parts of town. So that's been interesting. But I have a very, very understanding CEO who has been so generous.
I was thinking you should just drop them off at like military boot camp.
Yeah,
You know
just
what I mean?
like maybe you should send him away to camp, like sleep away.
Well, yeah, so I
Mortgage
thought of
boot
that,
camp.
but I
Mortgage
would
boot
need
camp.
to take a loan out on my mortgage to send them to sleepaway camp because it is not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
No.
It's all right. We can help you refinance. We'll give you the family discount.
So my summer has looked. When I saw that post, I was like, "Wow, goals! Maybe we'll try this next summer."
Yeah,
Did you guys travel anywhere?
we did.
Okay.
We went on a couple trips.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Anywhere in particular? Anywhere you want to mention or no?
Oh yeah, no, we go to North Carolina every summer.
Okay.
My in-laws have a cabin up there,
Mm-hmm.
so we did that, and we went to like the Keys. We also went to Disney World, so that was his first time going to Disney.
I've
So-
never been to Disney.
Didn't you go to
Really?
Maine?
45 years old and
too?
I've never been to Disney.
Really?
Yes,
I
and
can't
we
believe
went
I
to
just shared my
Connecticut.
age. I'm sure people think I'm a lot younger than that.
Yeah, for sure. Just edit that out.
And you went to Maine, right?
And Connecticut, yeah.
Or Connecticut. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I heard about North Carolina? And I love this. Have you heard the term halfback?
No.
Yes, halfback is such a great term.
Okay.
It's the people who have come down from New York or New England, wherever.
Oh.
They come down to Florida.
And then they go back to North
instead of going
Carolina
all the way back, they only
only
make
go-
it halfway back.
So they kind of want seasons, but not the harshness of the Northeast.
It could be all sorts of reasons. You know, obviously our economy here is very different than certain parts of North Carolina. And so,
Yes.
like, depending on what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Our population here has just gotten crazy. So
Yeah.
Yes. Traffic is abundant.
Traffic
Yes,
is abundant.
it is. Talk about. So I think this is a really apropos to break into the business aspect, right? You have your home life, you have
Yes.
your child that you're rearing, and how do you fit in being a working mom? Like, talk about that.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot better at it. I think when you first start real estate, it's like you have such open borders, right? Like the career could kind of be what you want it to be, on some level.
Is that why you picked real estate?
No, not really, to be
Okay.
honest. I just really kind of fell in love with it when I started looking into being a real estate agent. But when you get into the business and you start working and you go, I went and worked for a broker who trained me. And then I was like, okay, what do I do? Like, do I have to come to the office every day? And she's like, well, if you want, if you don't, here's like a list of tasks you could do. I don't know. It just felt like very open. So for a while, it was like that openness, and then being a mom allowed me to just be more of like a mom and then just like work, But as he's gotten older and I've gotten deeper into the career and, more successful and stuff like that, it's like, it's been great because it gives me the opportunity to kind of have both, you know, and because you kind of get to be the boss on some level, you can sort of pick and choose what jobs you take or, according to like their schedule. And so that part of it, I've gotten really much better at balancing both.
Do you use? I mean, it's all right. So talk about your brokerage. When did you
Yes.
start it?
Yeah, I started it 3 years ago.
Okay,
So 3 years in July.
congratulations.
Thank you.
July 4th.
July 4th, yes. We got our paperwork on the 4th.
I love that.
That's Independence Day, Sarah. Just
Yeah,
in
I
case
got my
you didn't know.
independence.
She's wearing green.
Says the person that had to get a citizenship.
I know this is true. This is true. This is why I know
This is
it.
why you know.
This is why
is
you
why I
know
know
it.
Do you know? So this is a funny story. So, born in Canada, moved to the U.S. when I was 7.
Okay.
I wanted the geography to be like I'm geography in the States, and I had all the capitals memorized. And like all this stuff is super easy, and I love politics, so I knew all of that stuff. So taking the tests to pass your citizenship. Now, I can understand if you come here from another country and, you had to learn English, and then at the same token, like you didn't do school here, so you don't know,
You're not from this
basic
continent.
things like how many states do we
Well, he's
have?
technically from this continent.
No, if you're not from this continent and you move here. So like if you're coming from somewhere that's not a part of the continent.
Just somewhere different, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
how many
Canada's
states do
close
we
enough
have?
that
How
you
many
can-
Yes, Canada is close enough already.
So it's on your maps.
Yeah, Canada is like the 51st state.
Right.
So, but yeah, like not knowing how many senators we have, like that,
Yeah.
how many congressmen do we have, like, vice presidents, all that stuff. But it was actually very funny. I mean, I thought the test was really easy because, again, like I said, I grew up here from 7th grade or from 7 years old on. But it was a very interesting process. And I'm actually very proud to be an American, Sarah. So.
My mom had to also get her citizenship. She was from Canada. And I remember I was in high school, I think, when she got it. So I was old enough, and she was studying for the test, and she'd ask me questions, and I was like, I don't know the answer to that. And she's like, you're a citizen here. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, you're going to probably know a lot more about things than I will, because it's not drilled into us, and we don't kind of like have to memorize it in a small amount of time. Like we kind of learn it over the span of our life.
Yeah.
And some things leak out and some things stay. So I think
I'm going to use that
Well, you
line.
kind of take it for granted, right?
You do, you
Like,
totally
you're just like,
do.
this is how it is.
Well,
and this
like
is
when you're
what we
taking your
know.
test, you got to pack it into a certain amount of weeks, and like you study, and then you take it, so everything is really fresh. And us, like we learn about certain things in first grade, and then third, like it kind of spans over. So, at one point, she was like, "I know more than all three of you kids, and you were natural born citizens." And we're like, "Yeah,
It's a culture. I think about it. Let's say if we all just moved to Italy tomorrow,
Yeah. Oh my
right?
gosh, I
And
can't
like, all right,
imagine.
so like, well, we know a little bit of Italian culture.
Yeah.
We know American Italian culture.
Right.
We don't know
Totally
real
different.
Italian culture. And, you'd have to, I don't know what their laws are. I don't know what anything is. Like, you got to learn it all.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's definitely interesting.
yeah,
for sure.
I don't know how we got segued onto that, but, because we were talking about 4th of July.
4th of July, yes.
yes.
Back to the 4th
And then
of
you
July.
made fun of me.
In true fashion.
Yes. Okay.
So, all right. So back to
3
your
years.
brokerage.
Yeah, so
3
3 years
years.
we've been in business, and I love it. I really do. I feel like it's kind of made me grow as an individual. It's like a new, sense of responsibility to the brand, and so I'm excited to just see where it goes and stuff.
Are you trying to recruit? Are you trying to grow agents?
So
Do you like
not
teaching?
really.
Like what?
Not
Okay.
really, no. Right now, I'm very comfortable with it just being me.
Okay.
To me, the client experience is so important. And like, I kind of, also it's like a learning curve. Going from the realtor hat to a broker hat, I just want to make sure that when I do start recruiting agents, and like, that's a leadership role that you kind of have to like, I think, grow into a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So there's parts of it that I'm like still wanting to, kind of make sure that when that happens that, agents feel like represented well, and, they have like a good person in charge.
I
Stuff
think
like that.
you and I have talked about this, and one thing that I found kind of really cool was you never want to be a huge brokerage. You really are selective about who you want working with you as a team.
Yeah.
And having those people to be really unique, and having kind of their setup of where they want to be, where they want to kind of canvas, where they're an expert in, whether they live there or whatever, and be, kind of very selective about who you're picking to bring into your brokerage to work alongside
and
of you.
I think that's like the nature of a boutique brokerage.
Yeah.
Right? Like big brokers can take on hundreds of agents. And if they only transact once in a while, that's fine, because they just are set up for it.
Right.
I think being a boutique broker, you're not really set up for having tons and tons of agents, whether they transact or not. So that's a great point. Like to me, it's also like if someone comes, I kind of want them to be boutique-y in their own right. Maybe they specialize in one community or one area, or they found a niche, whatever that niche is. I think that would be like a good complement to the brand, because it kind of feeds back into, we're very local. I grew up down here. So to me, that's really important too, like having that local knowledge, and like we live here, right? Like our kids go to school here, like we shop here, we like
eat, breathe, live,
you know,
work.
our all of our connections, everything is here. So definitely.
I definitely think that as an entrepreneur, that's probably one of my favorite attributes of being an owner is the ability to not have to work with people that I don't like.
Yes.
No, but it's.
I mean, it's true. Like
it's true.
It's true. It's nice.
You don't have to. You don't have to be best friends with everybody you like,
of
but
course.
you with everybody you work with. But in terms of, somebody's just rude, if they're cancerous, if they're if they're just negative Nancy, like no thanks, like go find somewhere else to work.
I know. Like I feel like as a new broker, I've met a few agents. Like when I started, I was like so hungry. I was like, I would have taken any deal that came my way. Like I probably did like 25 rentals my first year. They like deemed me like the rental queen, but I didn't care. I was like, I'll take whatever.
It's business.
Yeah, it's business. It's out there. I can talk to people. Like I actually learned more doing rentals my first year than the few sales that I had. So anyway, but I talk to agents, like you said, and sometimes I hear what they say. They're like, oh, well, I'm only going to do it if it's this type of real estate or this, bubble or this. And I'm like, see, that wouldn't fit for me because to me, I'm like, you're new. Like you just started maybe like.
What did you learn doing rentals? You kind of skipped over it, but I think it's important. Tell us what you learned.
Okay. So when I started doing rentals, I was working at a broker in East Deerfield. And all the girls in the office, nobody ever wanted to do the seasonal rentals or any of the rentals, but I took them all. Anyway, and what I learned the most was all about the condo buildings up and down the ocean, all about their rental restrictions, all about like how to write the leases, all about their rules and regulations according to dogs, just their parking, just stuff about each building. And to me, that was such an eye-opening experience as a new agent because when you're selling these things, all of that information is so vital to the sale. Like you could get far along in a sale, and if you don't know one little thing about this, these condos, it could be
You're like, oh, there's only one spot for parking. They're like, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
building.
Totally. Like, I mean, some condos were converted from a hotel to a condo. They don't have enough parking, so now they have to use valet. It's like little things like that. I think for me, it was also learning how to talk to associations, getting documents from associations, like pulling all that together, learning escrow, right? You now have a customer who put money in escrow for a rental and then 6 months later they move in, so then it's like, is the place still in good shape? Just like the little caveats of all of the escrow and, learning to get them to trust you. Like, I'm going to give you $3,000, but I'm not moving into this place. Like what's, like you have to have kind of conversations where like, it's like.
How many of these renters did you convert into purchase clients?
So I converted a few of them into purchase clients. A lot of them just kept renting or, with the way
But you stayed in touch from a CRM, from a follow-up.
Gosh, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So the reason I asked, Sarah, why don't you talk about our meeting earlier today?
I'm like, wow, he's really going there right now. So we have a partner that's a real estate company, and we're trying to figure out a way that we can follow up with the rentals, circle back with the agents, and turn the renters into buyers.
Okay.
And then,
great.
help the agent because we would kind of connect them again, but then also have them pre-approved, ready to go and kind of ready to rock and roll. And we found that the agents, I don't know, I think that they kind of just don't put as much effort or energy into the rentals. And I don't know that they're so adamant about like following up and.
From my perspective, so as a mortgage company owner, loan officers, and from, and again, that's why I asked the question specifically. You may be great at following up with your database. In general, salespeople are not. Loan officers and real estate agents. They close a transaction, they move on to the next. Correct. They don't follow up every 3 months. They don't ask for referrals. They don't do half the things that you should do as a salesperson to be successful. So what we want to do is I want to start taking a portion of what we're doing, and twofold, selfishly speaking, if we can take a renter and convert them into a buyer, that's a transaction for us that we get. But more importantly, the big piece is that as a rental agent that, you were in whenever you started, if we are there helping along with the follow-up and we help you show this tenant how they can purchase and create an actual transaction for you, the loyalty there becomes huge.
I agree.
So that's kind of the idea behind it. And that's the
And renting is usually temporary for people, right? Like,
I think a lot of people that rent don't have the idea that they could actually buy. And I think that
Right.
they're like, well, I don't have enough money to put down. I can't afford this. And I think a lot of them have never actually spoken to somebody that could give them proper guidance. And so they just assume that it's, too far out of reach. But then at the same time, I'm looking at people and I'm like, if you're putting first, last, and security down and you're renting a place down here, that's a lot of money to come up with up front that you could use towards, down payment and stuff like that. So I just think they're not really advised on how to do it well.
I think the key there is to understand that there's a lot of different reasons people rent.
True.
Yes.
Okay. You could be coming from an outside location and you don't know where you want to live yet. Mm-hmm. And so you're coming into the area and you say, we're going to rent for a year. You could be a spouse, somebody just got a divorce or some sort of life change, whether, whatever it is. You could be getting transferred from it for job reasons where they put you up into a place. Like, I just think that, then I also think, to your point, there's young people who are graduating. They don't know what they want, out of life, where they want to be. And then I think there's also the people you were just talking about that are individuals that don't know how easy homeownership really can be and how easy it is, and how there are, right now we still have money in the Hometown Heroes program,
right,
where people can literally buy money out of pocket. So I think the key and what we need to do to educate our team is figure out, yes, exactly, understand that person is, hey, exactly.
Get the why.
Get the why. I love that.
Oh, you have to ask questions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And once we know why they're renting, we can figure out, hey,
if we can help them,
if it's something we can do, when to do it. And so I want to start like a whole workflow thing.
There's other thing is like the rental communities. They're popping up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
That's big money.
And the price that they're paying to live there.
It's not cheap.
No.
There's a new community that's opening up on Military, like across from Parkside.
Yeah.
And it's single-family homes. They're 2-story. There's 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom.
Boca.
Yes.
Boca Nouveau, or
yes. And it's all rental.
Yeah.
And it's brand new construction homes.
And the price that they're paying to rent, okay, they do have some easy like access, right? Like usually it's like, I've heard some of them are like only a $500 deposit.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
But how much are they charging for these things?
Like $5,000.
But that's my point. Like, it's for people to pay $5,000 to rent, that's a big payment.
Yeah, huge.
You own nothing. You have no tax write-off. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks. That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. So rental communities, I think even some of these condos, forget that those are like nice.
Those are really nice.
And they're brand new, which a lot of people, I find buyers love brand new,
What's not to like?
I know. So like where I live, the homes were built in the 50s, 60s. I mean, unless if you tore them down and obviously rebuilt them.
Right.
So, there's a little bit like, oh, I could get this.
Or I can go brand new.
Yeah. I had an agent call me today, actually, and was asking for some strategy on how to sell his listing. And his listing was next to a Lennar community, and the house that he was selling, listing on behalf of the seller was built in 2020, and the new community in Lennar is 2024 or 2025. And there's not a huge difference, but to your point, yes, if I have the option, if the prices are going to be the same, and right now, one of the things that came up, they were talking about how some of these gigantic builders, what they do is they buy the interest rates down so much, and it's not done on a singular, it's done in big, massive pools.
Yeah.
And so they're able to offer a 4.99 rate, which is not at all what the market is doing.
Right.
So you say, all right, I have new construction, which I think we would agree that if you have the option between brand new or pre-owned,
gently used,
slightly used,
only like 5 decades, it's fine.
Yes, like most people are going to take the new one, and then on top of it, if there's an incentive,
and then the
it's
incentives,
just hard to beat.
It is kind of hard to beat,
But where that it's not profitable, that business model, so it sounds great for Lennar to do that.
Yes.
But the housing starts have all slowed way down.
I know.
Which means that they're doing that because they're forced to do that.
Right.
So in capitalism, one would want to sell as high as possible to profit as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
But so tell us a little bit about outside of real estate, what else makes you tick?
I love to cook.
Mm.
Big fan of cooking.
Oh, let's go. Let's go on that tangent. I'm a
I know. I see all your
chef as well.
posts. I know. I sometimes want to reach out to you and be like, wait, what was that?
You should start posting the recipes.
You really should start posting the recipes because a couple times you've made stuff where I'm like, what was that?
Or be like, DM me for the recipe. There's your call to action.
There's your tagline.
Yes. So I don't know how to make all the fancy, fun videos. I'm not, I like TikTok for not TikTok, whatever it's called, Instagram for its basicness. But I do like when you see when they speed up the videos and you see them cooking and doing that stuff. So I enjoy it. Cooking for me is just super relaxing.
So relaxing.
After I get home, I open up, I get a glass of wine, put a little bit of my Sonos music on there, and then, you just kind of, I don't know.
I'm going to get you a tripod for your birthday. You're going to start doing video.
No, you got to get them with the neck, where you can
Oh, where it's off your head, the helmet. So we can see
cam?
you chopping. Oh, wow, E-Man cam.
Wow, yeah. See, I don't know if we want to use that all the time, but.
No, just for cooking. But you wear it on your head, and then they can see you chopping, stirring, doing everything, and then you can do your commentary.
So I will be honest, if, the funny part about that, because I'm joking about saying the word chef, but I have never been trained in a kitchen this way. So I can only imagine cooking, slicing something and then someone saying
that's not how you cut. What
an amateur,
things.
That's not how you cut.
From the behind.
You're supposed to do it this way. But you know what is funny, which I never knew. I did learn this on TikTok, actually.
All right.
He's a huge TikToker.
I'm not, but out of boredom sometimes,
It's funny. It's entertaining.
I never knew, when you boil pasta, you're not supposed to take the pasta and dump it into the strainer. Mm-hmm. The strainer goes on top of the bowl. You take the bowl over to it and you turn it with the strainer. So the pasta never leaves the bowl. Did you know the pot, not the bowl?
I did not know that.
I didn't either. Sarah is mystified right now. You didn't know that? Did you know that?
Yeah, but it seems so heavy and hot.
Right.
No. Well, no.
Well, I guess you do it anyway.
The strainer's going right on top of your pot. And so there's no, you're walking over and then you just turn it over this way. All the water comes out. Pasta stays in the bowl. You flip your bowl back. And then the idea is that you're putting your sauce or whatever you're doing.
We were supposed to stay a little pasta water too. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So that's for something different. Yeah. So that's when you're making a sauce, right?
Do you eat your pasta plain?
I don't use water in my sauce, but I do love making pasta. I love Italian food. Although I hate olives.
Italian food too.
Somebody just told me the olive theory. Have you heard the olive theory?
No.
That they're the best things on the planet?
No, not at all.
He doesn't like pickles either. It's sacrilegious.
No.
Wait,
you don't like mayo.
Oh, God.
I know. Who doesn't like truffle mayo? She doesn't even like mayo. She's like,
how do you eat tuna fish sandwiches?
I make my own. I just do so many other fun, amazing things. There's no mayo that touches it.
So olive theory apparently is that in all great relationships, one person has to love olives and one person hates olives.
Okay.
And that's how you're successful in a relationship?
It's my tagline. It's all over my dating sites.
Is it?
Hates olives. Who wants to complete me?
Who
wants
olives?
to be my olive?
Yeah, who loves olives? Must love olives.
Who wants
it's
to
never
be
going to
my
work if we both hate olives.
Be my pimento lover.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. So cooking. What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish? That's a tough one. There's so many good.
How about two? What's your favorite dish to make, and then what's your favorite dish to eat? Because I think that's probably two different things, right?
Can be.
Yeah. I really love shrimp scampi. That's my favorite thing to make.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
an easy
so
one to
easy,
make, yes.
and I've gotten so good at it. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first started making it, I always thought it was going to be so hard to make. Do you ever get like that when you cook stuff? You're like, okay, I'm going to try this recipe, and you think it's going to be so hard to make.
Yes.
So, I mean, I can tell you literally. So I made the other night, I made a one-pan chicken and mushroom recipe.
I love one pans.
And what I did was I literally was in Publix, which is, I never shopped there. And I happened to be in Publix, and they had I didn't know where I was going. And I'm in a new store. I'm on YouTube.
A new store? Where do you go?
Well, just there's I normally go to like Whole Foods or Fresh Market, but
Got it.
I'm just
What is
saying
this Publix concept?
there was a
Where am
Publix by
I?
the house.
Oh my
Anyways,
goodness!
all right,
I've only
all
lived in
right.
Florida for 20 years.
So I've got the basket in one arm,
Yeah.
and in the other arm, I'm listening to a YouTube on the recipe, and I'm watching his recipe, and I watch it once, and I look at the ingredients, I go, okay, boom, go, and now I go get everything. So like I don't do so much the recipes. I don't like measuring out. Like I'm more off a
Not a
feel.
baker.
Yeah.
What's that?
Not a baker.
I don't know. I definitely don't know how to bake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have the what do you call
measuring
it?
cups?
No, of course I have those. What's the mixer?
Mixer.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, I have a Vitamix, I guess, but
You have your
could-
hands.
No, it's too difficult.
Okay.
All right, thought for you.
Yeah.
So since we both love cooking,
Yeah.
in an open house, have you ever thought about actually cooking at and inviting? Like, as an example, I make amazing crepes.
There, I knew this was going there.
And so what you would do is you would have an open house, 10 to 12, come by, champagne and
Emmanuel will be on the crepe
crepes.
station.
do you want like
station.
sweet? Do you want savory?
It's kind of like a, potluck, but like broker's open style. That'd be actually kind of fun.
But we'd have to put him in a chef's hat.
Oh.
We'd have to get him a mustache with the little curly things on it.
Broker's open style I wouldn't do because you don't know who's coming, and I'm not eating food off people I don't know who's coming. Like,
Yeah.
if we don't know and trust these people, like, what if there's olives in there? You know what I'm saying? So I think like we want to control the food. So I'm just saying like what we would do is we'd get a sign out there. Sarah used to have a job flipping signs. You know those signs?
Really?
I can't catch those things.
I just thought with a leprechaun background, maybe she
They
had
would
it.
have
goes like
flown
this.
right into the street, hit a car, gone through a
You
windshield.
and I are in the house. We're doing the open house,
All
right?
So the
you
open
and
house
I are
open
cooking.
to the public?
Well, I just think it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of doing.
I like this.
I'm not an agent, right? This is your world. I'm trying to think outside the box.
Yeah.
What can you do that's going to be different than Betty Sue next door and her open house?
Yeah.
So no food, cooking.
Food's good.
Do you think a seller would let you do it?
I don't know if a seller would let me do it. That's a great question.
So
'Cause
is
it's
it an
cooking in their
insurance
house.
liability?
Probably.
You'd
It's
have to do it out front or
yeah, and
something
then you
on
got
the
to clean
sidewalk.
it. Like the cleaning up, possibly.
We got
Ew.
Do
Sarah.
they have the right
We got Betty Sue, the
materials?
neighbor, to do it.
Plus, I think when people come to an open house, maybe they kind of want to know the food's like prepackaged or, store bought.
Because they don't trust.
Because they might be
You.
like, what, I would
Chef
think it would
Emmanuel.
depend on the, open
Situation.
house. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'm just throwing ideas out there.
We did a coaching session here, and it
Okay.
was his genius idea to have a crepe station for the coaching session. So it was all of the agents that we partner with the brokerage, and there was probably 40 people here, 40 or so agents here. And so I found a gentleman that does like a mobile crepe station, which is
Okay.
super
That was
cool.
awesome.
And he did sweet and savory, and we set it up over there, and they absolutely loved it. Like, everybody was just like, this is amazing. It was creative, it was different. I totally forgot to tell the building, and I was totally scared that we were going to set off the fire alarm because there was a lot of smoke that was generated in that little area. And I didn't secure it with the building, but we managed to do okay with it. But it was a cool idea. It was a super cool idea. I
That
would
is a
use
cool
him
idea.
again 1,000 times over.
Yeah, and I've definitely been to brokers opens when they have like something like that, or open houses where they kind of bring in something like
Hibachi
that.
guy.
A
What do
hibachi guy, yeah,
what-
something.
so-
But they bring their own stuff. They do it all,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. The what's the Spanish?
Paella.
Paella, yeah.
As a guy, we did. So I used to run a charity, and this particular charity, we did an event at this waterfront mansion, and that was one of the guys we did. We brought in a paella master. I forget
That's
his
super
name.
cool.
It was very
Right.
good. It was very cool. And
Yeah.
handed out. Again, it's trying to do something that's a little bit different to stand out.
Right.
What are some other creative avenues that you get to take from your personal life, like a cooking,
Yeah.
that you think you could bring into the real estate world?
I don't know.
Do you connect with clients being a parent?
Yes, I do. I do connect with clients being a parent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a big one.
I know for me when because I know you guys boat a lot and you're on the
Yes.
water a lot.
Mhm.
And you
Okay.
have a lot of places that you happen to list that are also very much on the water.
Yeah.
So I think that you, without even knowing it, your kind of identity persona is very East Boca, water, boat, salt life.
Yeah.
You know, kind of be part of the community, eat, breathe, live, work here, kid, be on the boat, the Keys. Like, that's what I think of when I think of you.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, like, your Instagram, the way that you are, like, it kind of all exudes that. So you probably, without knowing it, find clients that way too, I would guess.
The boating community is definitely a great community, and for the most part, they like to spend money, obviously.
Yeah. It's like first they get the house, and then they're like, now the time for the boat.
Yeah. And then they're like, whoa, let's get a bigger boat. I need a bigger house with a bigger dock.
Yeah.
Do you have specific spots that you go to?
Yes. So we go to the lighthouse a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And in
like
Pompano.
Lighthouse Point? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That place is really fun, especially for kids, because you can kind of like pull the boat up.
Sandbar type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to Lake Boca.
Okay.
And then we actually go to Stewart often. My husband grew up there, so he knows the waterways up there, and they have a very nice sandbar up there.
Very
and
cool.
they've got a really cool downtown.
They have a very cool downtown. Yes.
Yeah.
North Palm Beach. Is Stewart considered Palm Beach?
No, it's Martin County.
Martin, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the northern Palm Beach area, Martin County area, I mean, I know
Jupiter,
that's...
Yeah.
Well, Jupiter's already expensive, but where I was going with that, I know a lot of people that are starting to look in those areas.
Yes.
Gardens North, and essentially, listen, the Boca del Rey is very expensive to live. So it's an alternate. How far do you travel for clients?
I don't go to Dade County.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't go too far south Broward.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone call it just Dade. Instead of Miami-Dade.
Miami-Dade, yeah.
Is that a local thing?
It's a definite local thing.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't go to Miami. I think, I don't know it enough. I mean, I love Miami.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. But I don't know the schools, the community. I start to feel lost there.
Yeah. And it's not, I mean, it can be very overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming. Sometimes I go to open houses there just because, once in a while,
Check
I'm like,
it
I
out.
want to go to Miami and just see, because these houses down there are they're incredible.
Yeah.
The little islands that they have and the communities and stuff. But, and then as far as north, Jupiter's kind of where I, kind of stop. Because again, Jupiter gets a little there's Jupiter Farms, Abacoa, there's a couple neighborhoods. And then on the, east side, the condos, there's not even really that many.
And it's a lot of country clubs on the east side.
Yeah, a lot of right.
Here in Boca, what's your favorite community?
Oh, there's so many good ones in Boca.
Yeah.
Okay, top 3.
Top 3.
I know mine.
You do?
Yeah.
What's yours, Sarah?
I think we have probably similar.
Probably.
Mine's Old Floresta.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
I love Old Floresta.
It's just sometimes when I'm stuck in traffic on Palmetto, I'll turn off just to drive through there. And it's oh, we're not in traffic
these
anymore.
Oak trees, tiny little roads, the houses, the architecture. It's like they decided to preserve the architecture.
They're
there.
old Spanish, old Florida.
Yeah. And even if they redid them,
they make you
redid them, but
some of the integrity of
yes.
Okay.
So
What's
that's
yours?
definitely one of them. Yeah. What's yours?
I've always
You're
liked...
a Del Rey guy.
Yeah, I'm a Del Rey guy. Well, I mean, all right, so if we're not going east, I would say, so I was always a big fan of Fox Chase.
Okay.
So for similar reasons, so they're all 1 acre lots.
Yes. Oh, that's so
you have
nice
a big
too.
family like I do. You need a lot of space. So Boo Boo needs her running room. And no, if I had a house, I would get I'm sick and tired of the townhouse world.
Really?
I am waiting for, not for interest rates, I'm waiting for stability in our industry again.
I know.
So as soon as we have that stability, I'll
look into a house.
In fact, my mom just called me today, said it sounds like somebody may be putting an offer on a house that her and I own up north. So
okay.
Yeah. If that happens, all
Coming
the more
into
reason.
Cash.
Yeah, wait to go shopping.
Yeah, go shopping.
Yeah,
spend it.
So tough. But yeah, no. I love that area. I love that. I love the trees. I love that. There's only 40 something houses in that neighborhood, and it's gated. So
yeah,
I like that aspect of it. But I think from a school perspective, if I had kids, I'd probably be in Boca, not in Del Rey.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
it's why we left Lighthouse Point.
Really?
Yeah, we lived in Lighthouse Point, and then it was we had an opportunity to move to Boca, and I was like, I don't know, we should do it because the schools, Lighthouse Point, the schools are good, but tend to be a lot of people send their kid to private school.
Yeah.
Private schools
know.
are so expensive
So
now.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
You need to
Like,
save
I
up for
don't
that
know
growing
how-
family of yours.
What's that?
You need to save up for that growing family of yours.
So, okay, so let's, I mean, this is a good
Just
topic.
dog daycares are expensive.
Yes, well, we don't do the daycare anymore.
Oh,
Boo
no,
Boo has a
okay.
nanny.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
She
and
does.
She's.
Guess who found her?
You.
Yes.
But yeah, I've got amazing help and makes my
That's
life
awesome.
super easy.
Yeah.
But all right, private schools. So I like this question because I think so down here, like
Yeah.
when I think private schools, because growing up north, the school system is really good. So you don't
Yeah.
have to. It's not as commonplace, I think, for private
Right.
schools. What people would do is maybe send them for your 4 years of high school, or maybe your last 2 years, or a senior year
like
and
a
a
college
PG
prep.
year as a college prep to basically, get into it. But it's not as much of a full-blown education.
Right.
I see down here, and obviously we have a huge income, wealth disparity down here that you don't see in other areas,
Right.
right? And one of the things I notice is like the idea for me of paying for, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year
Per kid.
per kid, that's 4 years old,
Yep.
and might still be peeing the bed.
Yeah.
Like, why on earth?
Or
am
their
I-
pants.
No, but I'm
their
just saying,
pants,
like,
for
I
that
feel,
matter.
I just don't get the investment. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand it.
For
I don't
K
know.
through 12.
I don't know. I mean, I think if your kid's like a genius or like, I mean, all kids are geniuses. We're all geniuses, but you know what I mean? Like really or like needs something that school has. Like some of these schools have incredible like sports programs and stuff like that. Like from a very young age, they have like a lot of like that kind of development.
Yeah.
Or, science programs. Some of them have like pre-medical programs where your kid's like learning about like medicine in like middle school.
I guess what I would need to do as an investor,
Yeah.
also known as a parent, for me, it would
Make sure your
You're, like,
child's a
looking
good
at your
investment.
kid, like, can I have a kid? I don't know if I can afford
Are
this.
No,
you
I-
a good
I-
investment? Ooh.
it's not. It's like anything else. You want me to
No, for
invest in like no. Think of it like investing in a mutual fund, right?
Yeah.
You want to know who's running the fund.
Uh-huh.
What stocks do you have in the fund?
Totally.
We're going to go look at a school. You want to show me Pinecrest? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Show me what your graduates have done in the last 10 years.
Well, before you put your
Where have
money
they-
in that stock.
Well,
Yeah.
before I invest my
Child.
my 4-year-old child that's not born yet, but my 4-year-old child
Yeah.
into that kind of, listen, that's $500,000 in
You want
in
them to
school.
sell you.
I want to be sold a little
You
bit.
need to be
100%.
sold.
Yes.
Got it.
Red carpet.
No, not.
I need to know the
not
stats.
red
Who
carpet
graduates
is
from
more
here?
like
Where do they go? What
red
is their
carpet is
future
more
like?
showboaty. Like that's not what I would like to be sold.
You
on.
kind of want to see the data behind it all.
Yeah.
Show
that.
me how much better, how much
Who
further my
graduates from
child-
here? Where do they go to college? And what does their future look like? And how much more than the public school down the street?
Because I'm a very firm believer that it's all about who you know anyways.
Yeah.
So
100%.
if like at the end of the day, your kids want to go somewhere and, like it's not, is it necessarily going to be the private school or is it going to be their dad and dad played baseball and dad's uncles and like stuff
Yeah, of
like that?
course.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that type of stuff plays a greater role
100%.
in our society today than necessarily where you went to school.
Absolutely.
Maybe
Absolutely.
being a doctor, it matters. You went to Harvard or Yale or whatever, things like that. But,
Yeah.
us boring real estate people, like, you don't even need to go to college for our jobs.
Just come work for us out of high school.
No, that's a little
kidding, I'm
early.
kidding, I'm
A
kidding.
little young.
I'm kidding.
But you graduated from FAU, right?
I did
No.
not.
Oh,
No,
okay.
so everyone
I
thinks
did.
I went
Yeah,
to FAU because
I
we
did
have a
too.
partnership with FAU.
Oh, is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Right.
I'm an alumni, so
I graduated
cool.
from there.
I love
Yeah.
that school.
You did?
Yeah.
What year was that?
I'm younger than you. So we could do the whole year thing.
Well, no, this is true. I probably graduated faster than you did, but
Oh.
oh, it's so. Don't worry about it.
You still made it. You're successful. It's fine.
Oh, God.
I know you had written some questions for Lana. Would you like to ask the questions?
So I actually had some fun questions that are not super duper like real estate. Well, they're real estate related, but they're just your personal stuff. So like I was thinking about it and I was like, you talk to so many people, you meet so many people, you get people who are like, I want you to be my real estate agent. Here's what I'm looking for. And like, I know we all hear people that have champagne tastes on a Miller Lite or a Coors Light budget, but what's something that was not that, but like a feature or something in a house that was super, super bizarre that they needed to have in some place that they were looking at?
And by the way, we endorse Miller Lite on this show, so by no stretch of the imagination was that a knock. Miller Lite, we are open for business.
I think it's called natural or whatever, beer can budget.
Yeah, well, champagne tastes on a beer budget. I think
there we go. There we go.
You didn't have to bring Miller Lite into it.
Sorry.
Exactly. It's okay. English is her first language.
She's like, I'm all about Corona anyway, so it's fine.
I do like Olé, yeah.
I don't get that many crazy people.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't heard anything that was like, I thought to myself, you know what, that they're not going to get it. Let's say
nothing too eccentric.
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
Artists that I need this room
for my parents.
How about like crazy sex fiends that need a sexual?
Whoa,
like,
yeah. They're usually not telling. Well, it's not, they usually tell you everything. You're right.
They usually are like,
I need a room that has a really good like load bearing ceiling so I can hang things from it.
There's got to be a swing in this room, and I don't mean for the kiddos.
I mean multiple, and a pole needs to be able to be hung.
Yeah, my contractors should come in here and find the studs.
Yes.
But that is something that happens. Speaking of stud finder, that happens to something that we've found it just in general. There's a relationship between a consumer and an agent that is not like any other.
It's not like any other.
The title company, in my mind, is like the furthest one from the relationship. We're the next furthest one.
Yeah.
Because although we are looking at all of their finances, we just don't build that personal relationship in general.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
Right.
But you guys as agents,
I become their person, and for like months.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the saddest part of deals sometimes is like when they're over, because then we're talking on the phone like every day.
You're like, I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah, like we say that a lot. Me and my customers, like we're like we need reasons to hang out. Like what's happening here?
But I think that's a testament to how you do business and how you pick and choose who you're working with. The same way you do like bringing people into your brokerage.
Oh, 100%.
Is you have to feel like it fits.
The rapport has to be there.
Yeah.
Because it is stressful buying a house. Like, especially depending upon what you're buying, and like going back to first-time home buyers, right? So as an agent in the last few years, and you guys probably can attest to this as well, like first-time home buyers are like, it is a tough market. It is still an incredibly competitive market right now. Mm-hmm. Like that 650 or less, I mean, we're still seeing multiple offer situations, houses that never even get on the market,
Yeah.
So those relationships, going back to building the relationship with them, it's like, it's very stressful for them. Right. So having a little bit of fun and being like positive and being like, look, it's okay. Forget that house. Move on. We'll find something else. Like, it's kind of like, so.
No, it's a really, listen, when you're trying to buy something and my brain was going into like, all right, I saw like one busy spouse working, the other person not so busy, and calling you every day and being like, literally, like I need something to do.
It becomes their like obsession because that's all they think about, and so
they're ready, know.
And you're the keeper of all of the information. So they think, so they're just like, Lana, do you have anything for us?
Yeah.
Did you remember us?
Yeah. And then, it depends on the buyer. Some people who are coming in maybe with a lot of cash and they have a different set of criteria, or maybe they've purchased homes more than once, so they're kind of familiar with the process, so then that experience is a little bit different, so it just depends.
Well,
but yes,
awesome.
In that time, it's like we do become very close.
Yeah.
We learn a lot about each other, and like it's a really interesting relationship.
Because you're also seeing them through all of the emotions, the nerves, the frustration, the anticipation, looking, and then the excitement. And then, if something doesn't go super their way or kind of falls through, there's disappointment, and then it's picking everybody back up and getting
or it's
back
like
on
kind
track.
of going into houses. I think like the most disappointing thing is going into houses and like the way that it's like the condition of the home or the work that they did or something like that is like, oh gosh, this looks bad on us. Like, I don't know. Those houses are a little tough.
Yeah.
It all depends.
It depends. Yeah.
Yes. Well, this has been absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Lana.
Yes.
If any buyers or sellers or potential future recruits wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, they could just call me directly.
And how do they get, what's your number?
Oh, you need my number?
Well, whatever you want to give. So like, yes.
Yeah, no, it's 561. It's like actually the easiest number in the world to remember. 561-271-2111.
Oh, wow, that is
a
good.
one.
I know.
So 561-271-2111.
Yes.
Okay, will you bail me out if I ever go to jail?
Because it's the only number
Probably.
he's going to remember.
It's
I know.
memorized
I'm
now.
telling you, it's like such an easy number. When they gave it to me like forever ago, I was like, oh, I love this number. It's so easy.
You're going right after my ICE number. But, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the
Thanks so
show.
much for having me. So fun.
Okay, that's enough whining for one day. We are so happy that you could join us today on Stop Whining About Real Estate. So please, not only listen, but subscribe, follow us, download, share, and if you're feeling it, give us a 5-star review. Hey, and if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email stopwhining@choicemortgage.com. Thanks so much.